Alan Ayckbourn, in his own words. Today, broadcast on BBC Radio 4, 2nd of March, 1979.
Well, I think all good comedy is serious. I mean, I always get a little hurt when people say, would you like to write a serious play? And I say, well, no, all my plays really are serious. I'm dealing in personal relationships. And I think person-to-person relationships are sort of 80% of the time quite funny. I mean, they're also extremely tragic. I mean, we're rude enough to each other in the post office, but we're worse if we get into the bedroom. And I think that this area is enormous. And people again say, would you like to move out and do something else? You think, well, I'm in where it's all happening. I mean, I'm damn sure that the most important things that happen to any of the world figures are happening upstairs rather than in the boardroom, you know. Most of me is in most of the characters. I'm the most vulnerable person I know, and that is very useful to use. I feel a bit like I'm standing on a rickety staircase. I suppose I ought to get it mended, but if I did, I might lose a lot of material, so I continue to sway to and fro nervously on top. I don't think perfect people can write plays very easily. I think that the more flaws, the better, which is why writers are often such extraordinarily antisocial and difficult people to talk to. I'm all right in a one-to-one situation, as I say. It's when two or three are gathered together that I begin to disappear, which is also quite useful because it means in my intense nervousness, which is put forward as he's thinking of a play, which is jolly useful. It's very useful. People who don't like their relation should always be playwrights because you can sit there in dead silence and then nobody dares interrupt you because they say he's thinking of a play, not thinking of anything. I've got a lot of writing in me, I think. I've got a lot of plays I want to write. It's always that problem of actually getting down and the best play is the one that's about 3 months away and is drawn in your mind and it's perfect. And then as it gets nearer, all the warts arrive and directly you write on the page, you spoil the page somehow. But at the moment, lots of lovely dreams. I'd hope to write better plays, really, yes. I expect to hit this magical balance, where people are laughing and crying and having the most marvellous time and come out sort of like the Greeks say, purged and wonderful. Never quite happens. It's usually people are hurrying for their bus and arguing over the radiators whether they left them on or not. But I mean, one lives in hope.
Saturday Review, broadcast on BBC 2, 4th of June 1980.
It's a play about choices. Really, I suppose it's a result of doing interviews rather like this, I suppose, in that one tends to invent your past a bit. You say, well, then I decided to do this, and then after that I very sensibly decided to go into this. And of course, really, nothing I've ever done personally has ever been decided. I've just happened to be there at the right time or the wrong time, and somebody's asked me if I'd like to do it. And so, in fact, one abridges history. And what I wanted to write about was a play in which actually, what would have happened if, rather priestly idea actually, here we are, two sisters, both of whom see an extremely attractive gentleman, both of whom have rather unsatisfactory relationships with their own menfolk, and by chance they toss a coin, not actually just for the man purely and simply, but it ends up as that. And on one night, if he comes down heads, Abigail goes off with Simon, and if it comes down tails, then Dorcas goes off with Simon, and you have two alternative second scenes. They're both picnics, but they both vary, of course, because there's two different affairs going on. Abigail is married, Dorcas isn't. As a result of that, at the end of the first act, both actresses then, on stage, have the chance to make a definite decision as to which first scene of the second act they want to play. Whatever happens, it all comes back together in a final scene, which is the same in any event, although, of course, the emphasis in the playing varies. So, mathematically, you've got 4 versions.
It's probably just as well you've got all this explained in the programme, so the audience knows where they are, I suppose.
The National Theatre got extremely worried that nobody actually understand what they're going to see or what they've even seen. So we have drawn maps, which I hope are fairly clear. At least they're fun to look at. Make a change from rather more pretentious programme notes. I think the what if is rather nice. I mean, I think every one of us at one time or another has actually said, I wonder what would have happened if I'd said no, hadn't married that woman.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?